Zach, it looked like you guys.
I mean, I think the first quarter, everybody came out the right way. You know, I don't think there was any lackadaisical movements or anything, but, you know, they did a good job making us play in half court. We didn't get any stops. And then from the second quarter on, we were just trying to fight back. Guys make big plays, obviously, and then, you know, just fighting and clawing back, trying to get it back into the game, trying to get to 10 points, and it just didn't happen.
That second quarter, that 44-19 difference there. Obviously, they got going, defense stepped up. I mean, how much was that more on them versus what you guys were doing?
Yeah, I mean, they were making shots. We just kept taking, you know, we were taking the ball out the basket. It was hard for us to get into our sets. We get, you know, play fast. So we were trying to talk about playing fast first, then getting fast break points. You know, and they were just scoring, obviously getting to the line. And, you know, that's what happens when, you know, you don't end up getting stops.
If you could maybe, I know you probably didn't picture yourself sitting in this position, but as you just kind of look at this whole thing, just what kind of goes through your mind as you kind of step into the offseason? Obviously, it's fresh.
I mean, every year there's only one team that goes happy. Obviously, we all want to, you know, continue to play. It's don't hurt going home, you know, watching teams. So digest it, you know, let it hurt, and then obviously try to figure out how we can put ourselves in a better position to not, you know, be in a, you know, a win or lose, you know, situation.
Zach, on top of those 10 turnovers that you guys had, they made 8 of 12 shots from behind the arc, and a few of those was just completely wide open. What happened there? Were those, you know, those players, especially Brandon Williams, being that wide open?
I think it's just breakdowns. You know, you have a lot of focus obviously on Anthony Davis, who, you know, can create, can score. And then, you know, their guys stepped up. Clay makes some big time shots, you know, with us trailing, hand in his face, that's what he does. Keon getting in a little bit of foul trouble hurt us, you know, took a little bit of our defensive pressure away. But, you know, those guys make plays. You got to tip your hat to them, and, you know, their coaching staff on a good game plan.
Hey, Zach, on offense, 18 turnovers, was that lackadaisical play, or was that just third-grade defense?
No one tries to turn the ball over, obviously. You know, it's just guys trying to make the right play, or, you know, trying to get to the hole, get fouled. I think there was a couple times where passes didn't go the right way. I know I had a couple where I was trying to go in there and get fouled, or, you know, create something that got tipped or whatever. So, you know, you wish you could have them all back. You wish you could play a perfect game, but we just didn't have enough to win tonight.
Zach, how much with their defense, how much did their size kind of disrupt what you guys wanted to do?
It did in the half court a lot. You know, that's why you wanted to go out and get easy points on the break, or, you know, in transition, or, you know, make a mistake. But, you know, they did such a good job of being able to get back in defense, and then us not being able to get as many turnovers and get out and run. So that's what happens. You know, you play stagnant in the half court.
Zach, in your time here, just what has it felt like you guys have lacked or just not had enough of, or maybe need going forward?
You know, I think you go into each game and you think you can win what you have. You know, that's for, you know, people above our pay grade. The five guys starting, and then the other guys is coming off the bench of the team. We always think that we have enough to go out there and compete and win. I think that's our mentality.
2 more.
Along those lines, with Malik out, and Keon obviously is a special player in his own right, but just the lack of a true point guard, do you feel like that kind of played a role in some of your guys' offensive rhythm being off?
Yeah, but everybody has stuff that they're dealing with at this time of the year. You know, it's just figuring out how to, you know, overcome it. You know, no team is really fully healthy at the end of the year. You know, there's been trades and people hurt, people fired. You know, everybody's dealing with something. Obviously, those guys are big key parts of our, you know, our system. So it hurts, but we just need to find a way to win, just like they did.
Zach, one of the big questions facing this franchise in the offseason is whether to keep Doug or go in another direction. For you as a player, how important is it for you to know who's going to be the head coach so you guys can move forward with the whole offseason agenda?
I mean, I've been a player that's had 8 head coaches in my career, so, you know, that's something that I don't have a say-so in. You know, I go out there, I try to play my heart out for, you know, whoever's there. Obviously, we love Doug, but players like us don't make those decisions. You know, I think Doug did an incredible job of stepping in with the circumstance that he had and trying to rally these guys, and obviously me coming here a little bit later, with us going through some ups and downs and, you know, just fighting. You know, he definitely, you know, helped keep this group together. you know, on and off the court. So you gotta take your hat off for him in those situations. But anything past that as a player, you know, that's above my pay grade.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Right on.
Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Dr. Mark, I'm gonna get